Yes, my name is Kathu and welcome to my channel, Learn Maths with Kathu. So today, I'd like us to continue practicing word problems. So let's go through some questions, shall we? Okay, the first question that I want us to go through today is, a bookstore had this number of exercise books which were packed in cartons. Each carton contained 24 exercise books. The mass of an empty carton was 2 kgs and a full carton was 12 kilograms. Part A, how many cartons were there? Part B, what was the total mass of the empty cartons? And part C, what was the total mass of the books alone? Okay, so here, pause the video and try and answer the questions. So let's now reread the questions as we write it out, as we write out what we understand. Okay, so we've been told that a bookstore had 30,816 exercise books, okay, which were packed in cartons. Are we together? Yes, and we've also been told that each carton contained 24 exercise books. So we need to write that out as well. And we've been told that the mass of an empty carton was 2 kilograms. Empty carton mass is 2 kgs, okay? And a full carton is 12 kgs. So full carton mass is 12 kilograms, okay? We've written that out. So we have written out everything we need to know. What is part A asking us to do? How many cartons were there? Okay, so part A is basically asking us to calculate how many cartons were in the bookstore in total. Okay, so let's now read the whole question as we try and answer part A. Okay, yes, so we know that there are 30,816 exercise books in the bookstore. Okay, and we also know, yes, and also know that each carton contained 24 exercise books. Okay, so for us to know how many cartons were there, we'll try to see how many cartons will hold this number of books. Okay, so we'll ask ourselves, if one carton can hold 24 exercise books, how many cartons will hold 30,816 exercise books? Okay, so there'll be more, right? So we'll simply multiply the one carton with the bigger number, which is this, and divide by the smaller number, which is that. Okay, so when you do the math and you divide this, you'll get 1,284 cartons. Okay, and that will be the answer to this question. There will be 1,284 cartons in the bookstore in total. Okay, so let's look at the second part of the question. B, what was the total mass of the empty cartons? Okay, what was the total mass of the empty cartons? So here we are being asked to calculate the total mass of the empty cartons. And from the question, we already know that the mass of an empty carton was 2 kgs, okay? And we know that the bookstore has 1,284 cartons. So now we'll ask ourselves, if the mass of one empty carton was 2 kilograms, what will be the mass of 1,284 such cartons? So when you do the math and you multiply this, you'll get this, kgs. Okay? Yes, and that's the answer to that question. So the total mass of the empty cartons is 2,568 kgs. So let's now go through the third part of the question. Part C, what was the total mass of the books alone? Okay, so here we are being asked to calculate the total mass of the books alone. So what will you do here? So in order for us to calculate the total mass of the books alone, we'll need to calculate the total mass of the empty cartons and the total mass of the full cartons and then find the difference, okay? And thanks to part B, we've already calculated the total mass of the empty cartons, okay? So here we'll just calculate the total mass of the full cartons and find the difference. So how do you calculate the total mass of the full cartons? We've been told that the mass of a full carton is 12 kgs, okay? And you also know that this bookstore has only 1,284 cartons. So we'll ask ourselves, if one full carton weighs 12 kgs, how many kgs will 1,284 cartons weigh? Okay? They'll weigh, when you do the maths, you'll get 15,408 kgs, okay? So we can now conclude that the total mass of the full cartons is 15,408 kgs, okay? And for us to get the total mass of the books alone, we'll subtract the total mass of the empty cartons from the total mass of the full cartons, okay? Yes, and we know that the mass of the empty cartons is this, the full cartons is this. When you to get the mass of books, you subtract full cartons minus empty cartons, and when you do that, you get this number here. So the total mass of the books alone is 12,840 kgs. Okay, that was really easy, right? So let's go through another question. So this is the second question I want us to go through today. A car uses 1 liter of petrol for every 6 kilometers. The car was to travel 480 kilometers and had 15 liters at the beginning of the journey. Each liter cost 58 shillings. A. How much more petrol did the car need in order to just complete the journey? Part B. How much did the fuel cost? Okay, so let's now read the question again and write down everything we understand. We've been told that a car uses 1 liter of petrol for every 6 kilometers. Okay, this is what we've been told. So we read that out: 1 liter of petrol, 6 kilometers. Yeah, and we've been told that the distance, the car was to travel 480 kilometers. So the distance is 480 kilometers. You've written that down as well. And had 15 liters at the beginning of the journey. So it had, at the beginning, it had 15 liters. And each liter cost 58 Kenya shillings. So 1 liter of petrol cost 58 shillings. Okay? So part A. Part A is asking how many cartons were there, okay? So part A is asking us to find out how much more petrol. My apologies, I showed you the wrong part A. I got mixed up a little bit, but this is part A. Part A, how much more petrol did the car need in order to just complete the journey, okay? So part A is asking us to find out how much more petrol the car needed to complete the journey, okay? So here, we'll first start by calculating how much petrol the car needed to complete the journey before we calculate how much more petrol it needed, okay? So we've been told that a car uses 1 liter of petrol for every 6 kilometers, meaning that the car spent 1 liter of petrol to travel 6 kilometers, okay? And the total distance the car was supposed to travel is 480 kilometers, okay? So now, with that information, we can now know how many liters of petrol the car needs to complete the journey. Okay, so we'll just ask ourselves, if the car uses 1 liter of petrol to travel 6 kilometers, how many liters of petrol will it need to travel 480 kilometers. Okay, when you do the math, you get 80 liters of petrol. Okay, yes. So what is the question? So this car will need 80 liters of petrol to travel, for it to be able to travel 480 kilometers. And what is the question asking us? The question is asking us to find out how much more petrol the car will need to complete the journey. Okay? Yes, and we've also been told that the car had 15 liters at the beginning of the journey. Okay? And we've established that this car will need 80 liters for the journey. Okay, so in order for us to know how much more petrol the car will need, we'll subtract the amount of petrol the car had at the beginning of the journey from the amount of petrol the car needed to complete the journey. Okay, in order for us to know how much petrol needed to be added. So we'll subtract that. We'll subtract the 80 liters minus 15 liters and we'll get 65 liters. Okay? And just like that, we have our answer. So we can comfortably conclude that the car needed to add only 65 liters for it to complete the journey. Okay? So let's now look at the second part of the question, part B. How much did the fuel cost? Okay, so we've also been told in the question that each liter of petrol cost 58 Kenya shillings, and we've also established that the car only needed to add 65 liters of petrol for it to complete the journey. Okay, so we'll now ask ourselves, if 1 liter of petrol costs 58 shillings, how much money will 65 liters of petrol cost? It will definitely cost more, right? So we'll have this. When you multiply this, you get this. So the fuel cost 3,770 Kenya shillings. As simple as that. And with that, we can call it a day. So don't forget that math is all about practice. Additionally, I'd like to mention that I offer tutoring services. So if you are interested in getting tutored, please make sure you fill out the Google form that I've included in the description box of this video, as well as in all my other videos. I'll reach out to you as soon as possible. Okay? So if you enjoyed the lesson, feel free to like, share, because sharing is caring, and subscribe so that you don't miss any time I upload a new video. Subscribing is free. Yay! See you in 2 weeks' time, same place.